That was a special place because it was old and it was something that we all related to, and no matter what decade you came from, it was almost like a Hallmark card because there'd be people walking down the streets and riding their bikes and families sitting on the picnic table. I'm sure many people had their first date there and families just gathered there. You know, it just meant more than just baseball.
As a new season was about to unfold in Waseca, this field of dreams became a nightmare.
Just coming into our newsroom tonight, a fire in Waseca has damaged a beloved baseball field.
It was the biggest fire from end to end, bottom to top that I've ever seen. It was just one big ball of fire.
In a case of suspected arson, the historic wooden grandstand at Tink Larson Field was destroyed by fire.
About 8:15, I got a phone call from somebody who says, "Hey, is there anything going on over at the field? My nephew just called and said that fire trucks or something over there." And so I looked out the window and holy cow, the place was just completely engulfed in flames, and it was panic city for me. I thought, oh my gosh, 50 years of my life just went up in flames.
The legend of Tink Larson began in Waseca in 1967. For nearly a half century, he coached the VFW, high school, American Legion, and town ball teams. Tink bought a home across the street from the park, and the field that now bears his name was his pride and joy as a one-man grounds crew.
This is really my home. In fact, one year, my wife Sharon put a tent right underneath the third base tower there and put a big sign out in front of it, and they took a picture and put it in the papers and everything, but it said Tink Summer Home. Until she passed away 2 years ago. She was a very big part of this operation too. She worked just about every single game that I coached for all 4 teams for 44 years, and probably not a lot of wives would do that. So it was her home too.
Built through the WPA in the late 1930s and updated in the 1980s with seats from the old Metropolitan Stadium, the grandstand was a distinctive feature of this southern gem for the fans and players alike.
I'd say the best thing that I think about when I think of this park is the memories that we have here of all the players that have gone through here, and especially the memories that were created underneath that grandstand. There's 8 rooms under there. We had 2 clubhouses and we had those things fixed up. They were carpeted. We had flat screen TVs, cubicles for the players, refrigerators, gas grills, everything in there. And some of the friendships that were developed in those clubhouses that's probably the greatest thing that I remember is all the relationships that we developed at this field.
Well, we were all hurt by it. I think we were disappointed, not only because of the facility being burned down, but also I think all of us that were so close to Tink felt for him because it meant so much to him.
I talked to him the night of the fire. He was totally devastated, which is understandable. Dealt with Tink several times since then, and he's had some emotional time periods. And you just try to talk him out of it, but the night of the fire was devastating.
In the weeks since, the city of Waseca has moved forward in preparation for the game here today. In doing so, it's received a helping hand from the Twins, who provided netting to protect the seating area. They also sent head groundskeeper Larry DeVito and his team to replace the damaged sod behind the plate.
Dave St. Peter, the president of the Twins, came down and talked to some of us. They are bending over backwards and offering support wherever they can, and it's just been phenomenal.
The accommodations for today's game are temporary. Long-term, the city plans to rebuild. While the cost and specific design are yet to be determined, there's a firm commitment to make Tink Larson's home a new field of dreams for generations to come.
We're going to rebuild it better but different than it was, and exactly the same but different. And we're going to have an opportunity for future generations to be thankful and be glad that we, at this time, built a new stadium. So we're going to have a stadium for future generations that can form their own memories, just like we had the privilege to form our memories. We're going to have, obviously, a much nicer, more modern facility. Hopefully we can somehow replicate what we have here, whether it's on the same footprint that we had. We're kind of thinking it would be nice to have something to remember the old grandstand by.
Okay.
They're all committed to making this rebuild into a better place than it was even. It'll be newer, fancier, modern, all coated and everything. I'm very confident that they will see that it gets done. It will be nice, but it won't be the same. This is an iconic landmark, but we'll be happy when they get it rebuilt so that we got something here for the future generations to be able to enjoy just as much as the previous ones have.